as through the Spirit. You know what? We'll get that scripture. 1 Corinthians. See, because there's different operations as we show through the Spirit in this truth. You know, not everyone is going to be a big speaker. You know, and riddle off, memorize scriptures. You know, not every brother's going to be reading through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You're going to have different brothers that have different gifts. You know, and one isn't necessarily better than the other. Of course, we all, you know, want to cover to prophesy, you know, to speak. But through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, there's other ways that you can assist in His word. You know, and this is a form of it. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10. We're going to start at verse, so at the top. Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of the anointed Yahweh Shai, who the world even calls Christ. The word Christ in the Hebrew meaning, the word Christ in the Hebrew is Mashiach, meaning anointed. The real name of the Lord is you know, Yahweh Shai, according to the true Hebrew, the Lashwan Kodash, which means He, you know, deliverer. The deliverer of the elect of the nation of Israel, which encompasses you so-called Latinos, Hispanics, Native Seminole Indians. You know. Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Yahweh Shai, who in presence am base among you, but being absent am bold towards you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. Because that's the thing, like, you know, when you see videos such as this, it doesn't give that much flair as what you would see, so to speak, when being on the highways and byways as fire and brimstone, you know, cursing people out, you know, condemning people, which through the Spirit, you know, you're supposed to read the judgment out there and just crying aloud, sparing not, you know, letting the heathens know what their future is as far as slavery, according to the scriptures. All those not of Negro and Indian descent of your father's lineage, you let them know their judgment. You let, you know, those that are not chosen by the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua, as far as 2/3 of our people who aren't going to take heed to this word, you warn them of their sins, you warn them of the destruction coming, and let them know if they don't repent and turn back to the Most High in spirit and in truth and seek Him 10 times more, you know, you let them know their judgment. And of course, you know, you're going to get your attention out there. You know, you so-called air out on the society and all the fuckery and foolishness that goes on. You know, and let truth be known. So yeah, it's a through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, it helps being out there on the highways and byways. You know, whether you're screaming or whether, you know, you got a loud voice or you don't, it helps the spirit. You know, it really does help the spirit. Plus, you know, you're doing the work of the Lord, the labor of love. So yeah, it's gonna help. You know, so it may, to those worried about vanity, beware. You know, it may tarnish your so-called image when you're inside doing studio shows, going into more of the details of what is involved with this truth to help further edify the elect. But, you know, so be it. It is what it is. I mean, ultimately, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we're not in this for vainglory. You know, if you have a gift, you try to use it to the best of your ability and also help edify others. You know, so when it comes to brothers who may see the apostles, the elders, Great Millstone, GMS, you know, from online, which brothers have seen, you know, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, when brothers first heard this truth, you know, to a big crop of brothers, a big portion of brothers, yeah, you know, the elders seem, you know, on fire and brimstone and you know, just rough and bold, you know, bold with faith, not with pride, when speaking this word. You know, even when admonishing and rebuking these other camps, you know, they think of it as, you know, from a worldly sense, on some bullshit COINTELPRO, IUIC, talking about, you know, you got this one camp that gets on every other camp without, without trying to bring us in together, trying to make it seem like we're set up by the so-called white man. But the thing about it is, that's farthest from the truth. Through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, since we actually condemn this society. First and foremost, speak the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding according to the scriptures, regardless of what people think. As the scriptures say, crying aloud, sparing not, lifting up our voice as a trumpet, and showing our people their transgression. The book of Isaiah, the 58th chapter, and the first verse. But we're actually also commanded to reprove the other groups. Real quick, this is the book of Titus, chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. Like not warning our people of the danger that's coming, especially the hour temptation, where the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, the Bible speaks of, is going to be pushed on the people during the hour of martial law, the time of martial law. And if you're not warning our people about it, a big sign of that being the reason is because you either sold out, so-called white man paid you money, okay, with evidence not necessarily showing immediately the briefcase exchange with hand, as far as some of you camp leaders or congregational leaders, as far as Nathaniel Ray, so-called Bishop Nathaniel Ray, or so-called General Yohana from ISUPK, Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. Yeah, there's no evidence on that, but the way you can show as far as defilement is how the doctrine has changed. So 1 minute you teaching that the name of the Most High is Yahweh, Nathaniel Ray, Bishop Nathaniel Ray, and next minute you saying that we don't know the name of the Most High, or knowing the name of the Most High is not important. So come on now. And then there's the accounts of several brothers that knew these men from the old school, okay, they actually have experience with these men and seen how they flopped and changed over the years, whether it's not going out on highways and byways sincerely to feed the flock, to teach his word, or just being given to change, and teaching false doctrines, things that they ought not to. Either, also gathering a Christ church, so-called elder, I don't know what his title name is. Brothers call him Bubble Eyes, but some of you guys over there at GOCC, or if you may come into contact or see them online, gathering a Christ church, the head of that so-called congregation is a man called Rakar, and he teaches in the name of Ahaya and Yeshaya. So that's not what they learned, and that's not according to sound doctrine. And this is an example of that with the scriptures being spoken of. You guys are many unruly and vain talkers. One of themselves, chapter 1 verse 12, one of themselves, even a prophet of the book of Titus, one of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, the Cretians are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith. You see? So here it is, an account of a man that was amongst the Cretians, fellas that should have known better about, the word of the Lord and the laws of the Lord. And he gave a witness to the folly and foolishness that they do amongst themselves or amongst their so-called congregation. And there's different testimonies and accounts of brothers that have waken up through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua from these false groups, and pointing out the hypocrisy through the spirit. Beautiful. Where different guys talking about the hypocrisy in these different schools, and showing the false doctrines that they taught, and just how they're a completely different person than what they show or project themselves on the video camera. So in order for these men to be sound in the faith, sound in the doctrine, we're commanded to rebuke them sharply. After all, you look at the book of Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, if we don't warn them of their wrongdoings, not just to those out on the highways and byways, as far as those that haven't heard the word and amongst our people, but even those that call themselves into circumcision. As far as being called in the truth. So, if we don't warn you, your blood's going to be on our hands. So if you don't like it, then hey, take it up with the Most High. So going into the sign that we're going to show first, since it's a one that draws a lot of attention, is the sign of Cesare, old boy Blue Eyes, who this world considers as Jesus, and putting that together for the poster board. Like we mentioned prior, you got the 3x3 image. So it's 3 different pages. First page, second page, going across. First, second page, and then going across, and then 3 pages going down. So let's commence to the cutting. If you haven't gauged it already, this is going to be a lengthy video. So for those that are bored by long vids that don't show a lot of attention grabbing as far as ass and titty shaking, then feel free to leave right now. Through the Spirit, what you want to do is go along the border, cut as close as possible, into the line, being careful, especially when you have images that have like a so-called white surface, which, depending on how, through the Spirit of Yahweh sharp your eyesight is, you can somewhat tell, okay, where the color tones of the white shade switch. But if not, then, you can just use a ruler and a pencil and draw it out. So through the Spirit, it looks like we actually are going to use the rulers. Want to be precise. Jake is a perfectionist. So through the Spirit, we got the metal, and any ruler you can use to suffice. The Spirit. Got the metal from, or the ruler from, I believe this is from Staples, or I found it at the plantation, one or the other. But here's the one from Staples. Alright, just on personal preference, Let's see, I'll use the middle one. Let's see, and you want to use pencil to, just in case, you gotta retrace your steps as far as, erasing and whatnot. So here we go with this. There you go. You see, so you have a better idea where you're cutting. Now the thing, if you may not pick it up on first glance, when you're doing the tops or the middles, or whichever side that the Spirit has you do, you be mindful that instead of doing a cut or a line going all the way across, you already have the border for a lot of these signs for the camp. So you don't have to worry about going up past this portion right here, or you know, having the pencil go all the way up, because you're gonna keep this top layer. You know, it's just, if anything, you know, you keep this, but you be mindful not to exceed it. So, because for this sign we have a lot of white background, might as well just go ahead and, you know, get all that done out the way, so we know what we're working with. All to avoid mistakes. You know, they got a saying as far as carpentry is concerned. You know, when you want to get technical about it, measure twice, cut once.